So, when I was in kindergarten, I was always the kid that got gold stars on all of our tests, homework assignments, classwork assignments, literally anything that could possibly be graded, it had a gold star. And kids would always come up to me, asking me to give them the answers, asking me to just straight up do their homework for them. And this was the moment in my life where my parents and even me realized that I was, well, a gifted kid. And so, I am going to take you through the timeline of a gifted kid. Hi, I'm Jaina Dumas, and let's start the show. So, if you have no idea what I was talking about, you're probably very confused right now. Well, allow me to educate you. A gifted kid is someone who has either entered the Gifted Talented program in a school or is just really, really smart. And the Gifted Talented program that schools offer are just programs that allow the gifted kids to either move up in a grade or take harder classes that would be more challenging and entertaining for them. Of course, I was never in one of these programs. My parents weren't really interested, but the term still applies to myself because, like I said, I was really, really smart, and I still kind of am. So, I'm going to take you through the timeline. And we're going to go from kindergarten all the way to 10th grade, and I'm going to tell you the story about how being a gifted kid affects my life. Starting with kindergarten, obviously, elementary. So, like I said in my intro, I always got, well, gold stars on all of my assignments, for example. And getting gold stars, especially in the early stages, was extremely rewarding for like a little 5-year-old like me at the time. And when you're getting all these rewards, it's awesome, it's amazing. Everybody loves getting rewards regardless of what they are. And getting them so many for so many little achievements was probably one of the best things ever. Because, everybody knows that 1 + 1 = 3. And now we move on to middle school. 5 through 6, to be specific. And well, I guess the timeline should probably look like this because it was COVID and everything sucked during COVID, but it was actually a really good time in my life because, well, a lot of the achievements I did were starting to get more and more impressive. And obviously I was still learning things, so obviously teachers kept dishing out the same rewards very frequently as they did in elementary. And even though I was sitting on like 22 missing assignments during COVID, I also really excelled in things like band. My first band concert was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, and a lot of my family members still remember it to this day. But now we enter what I like to call the falling off the cliff. Could have said that better. But this is 7th and 8th grade, and this is what I call depression hour in this timeline, because I'm older now. Obviously, I've learned a lot of things, so all the 100% on all my homework, tests, and quizzes, unless it was a really big test, started to become less important, less obsolete, well, more obsolete. And it sucked to not have the rewarding behavior and having to keep chasing the dopamine that I got so much throughout my elementary to early middle school days. And it sucks even more when you have to look all nice and pretty for these high schools that you're applying to in 8th grade, because not only are you not getting as many rewards, you have to try even harder and look all nice and shiny. So every little failure just felt even more worse than it could have ever been. And this carried on into high school, even when I'm in high school, even when I don't have to look all pretty and shiny for high school, because I'm already in high school. And I'm gonna be honest here, college isn't really an important thing I see in my future. So who am I performing for? Is the question that a lot of my friends who I have met would ask me. And the truth is, I don't know who I was performing for. I didn't know what answers I wanted. And even though I met all these new friends and I joined my robotics team, I still felt like there was something missing, like there was something that was still wrong, that I still cared about people's perception of me and the rewards that people would give me. And it wasn't until meeting my friends and joining the robotics team that I ended up learning this lesson. And so I don't know what's left on the timeline, and you don't know what's left on the timeline. This isn't your timeline. This isn't your life. This is my life. So why should you care? Well, because the lesson that I'm still learning is a lesson that everyone should know. So I'm going to leave you off with this nice drawing of a train and a quote. Trust thyself.